So my research for this current unit was developing resilience in high school students from a generative and reflexive approach. So what we've gathered from a generative and reflexive approach and how we can move forward to develop more resilience in high school students. Alrighty, so before we begin, I like to do stuff. I am a type of person who likes to go out and do the hard things. So bottom left-hand side, done a few Ironmans there. That's relatively hard, I would say. You're doing 3 sports. If you're doing a half, you've got up to 7 hours to complete that. And if you're doing a full, you've got something up to 18 hours to complete that as well. So relatively hard there. Rock climbing, abseiling, all that other fun stuff, fairly qualified up when it comes to that, and really enjoy doing that as well. What I've seen in my time in the military is that people do not like to get outside their comfort zone, and that is a really good tool to be able to get outside their comfort zone as well. So basically, from my career so far, both being in the military and as a teacher, I have seen a wide range of people, and I've been able to put them outside their comfort zone, specifically in the military. So doing things like that is really important to building your mental resilience, your mental health, and wanting to do the hard stuff and knowing you can get through the hard stuff, which is why I focus my research around building mental resilience in high school students. From what I've seen in my time in the military and at school, not a lot of people want to do the hard stuff. They may really, really, really want to achieve a goal, but they're not willing to do the hard things to get there. They just expect it to come from them. And that's why I focus my research around being generative and reflexive and basically doing the hard things and promoting that resilience aspect. So I've come up with 3 learning goals that were developed during assignment 2. So that allowed me to research 5 articles, and I developed these 3 learning goals. Now, as I go on later through this presentation, these 3 learning goals all kind of tie in together. So the first learning goal was to understand resilience factors and how they can be enhanced. So this is looking deeper into research, conducting other professional development sessions to identify common factors and understand how these interact within schools. The second one is look into conducting professional development and improve my understanding of how to develop effective interventions. So what can I do? What can I implement within schools to be able to increase this resilience? And the final one is all about staying informed with current research so that I can remain generative and reflexive within my approach. My teaching methodologies can be continually improved. So research summary from assessment 1. So that allowed me to read 2 articles by Mockler and the second one by Ryan and Burke. And basically in a sentence, it revealed the need for transformative changes in education, which emphasize student-centered approaches, teacher autonomy, continuous assessment, and adaptability to address evolving diversity of students and promote critical thinking, ultimately fostering a more effective and inclusive educational system. So key takeaways from those 2 articles essentially were leadership and other higher ups need to be more inclusive of not conforming to the social norms of education. We've got an increasingly diverse group of students that we need to cater towards, and with that comes fluidity and being able to adapt on the fly and being able to change your teaching approaches as your new students come through the door. Not everybody's the same. Everybody is diverse, and we need to adapt our teaching approaches to do that. And I feel like that's where focusing on my research goal, our resilience has kind of gone down because there's too many people in leadership and higher approaches that are trying to teach the kids the way they were taught in the 1960s and 70s, and that doesn't fly anymore. Kids are diverse, and we need to be open to that. So moving on to assignment 2, which was more focused around my research article, summing this up in a sentence. All 5 articles basically emphasize the need for more emotional resilience by fostering positive emotions. So telling kids it's okay to have emotions, helping them go through that, and helping them develop a sense of self-worth, giving them the chance to be able to achieve higher and giving them the confidence to be able to know that they can achieve higher. So giving them achievable goals which aren't within their comfort zone, allowing them to go outside of that comfort zone in a safe and supportive environment. So moving on to the rationale, as I said before, the three learning goals are linked and follow on from each other. So from these three learning goals, I'm looking at some questions. How can I broaden these three learning goals even wider? So why is there a lack of resilience? When did it start? When did we start seeing these changes in our young people of today? What are the protective factors that contribute to this lack of resilience that we're seeing? And is this something we can change? And how do we go about changing it? Okay, so looking at in-depth research and looking for professional development opportunities so I can better my understanding. So these are all linking together. So they go from recognizing being the first goal, implementing is the second goal, and then continually remaining current being the third goal. So moving on to the scope. So within my current workplace, professional development isn't spread out throughout the year. It's left up to the individual teacher to decide what they want to do, which is really, really good, because then at least you are being generative and reflexive, which is what we covered off in Mockler and Ryan and Burke. Teachers are able to go out there and look at their own professional development, what they want to achieve, which is really good. Once you've done this professional development, it's all shared amongst the staff. So we have staff meetings every 2 weeks. And in this, if someone's been on professional development, it's noted that they will get up and share, and they want to share, which is really good. And then if no one's been on professional development, we will focus on things that do look towards generative and reflexive teaching. So more recently, we've been looking at NAPLAN results and how can we better our school to better our NAPLAN results, essentially. So the school that I'm currently at is really good with their generative and reflexive approach to professional development. So some activities that I can do, can partake in professional development opportunities, and this will allow me to have tools myself that I can implement. Can change and adapt my teaching methodologies, which are backed by research. So from that professional development that I've just been given or that I'm undertaking, I can take that into the workplace and adapt that, and then openly communicate with staff and also with parents and carers about what I'm implementing within the workplace, because they may take something away from that towards their home. So within a network, I've looked at some Resilient School podcasts. So that one sounded really good. There was 32 episodes in that one. And the Student Wellbeing Hub also has a Building Student Resilience module, which is done across 3 modules. So that's also there to access as well as I move on through my career. As well, at school, we also have a team of professionals, which are made up of occupational therapists and child psychologists, and they are open to me to go and see whenever I wish. So policy, looked at the ATSL standard and also the Victorian Teaching Professionals Code of Conduct, as that's where I currently am. Got a lot out of the ATSL standards that also apply to my professional development pathway and my goal in achieving this, and that was really good to look at there. Teaching Code of Conduct, got a couple out of those ones as well, which can be read further in my article. So just a couple of quick statistics as to why this is important. So 39.6% of people between the age of 16 and 24 have had a mental health disorder for up to 12 months. So this is from the Australian Bureau of Statistics. And then suicide was also the 15th leading cause of death in 2021. Mental health and behavioural disorders were present in 63% of the deaths. And finally, anxiety and stress have accounted for 17.5% of deaths, and suicide in young people between the age of 25 to 24 years old. So this information here is important, and it explains why in this article that's displayed up there now. Basically, literature has revealed that 25 studies that unanimously showed higher levels of resilience are related to fewer mental health problems. So if you have a higher level of resilience, you're going to have a higher chance of having less mental health problems, and therefore a lower chance of suicide or suicidal thoughts or having long-term mental health conditions. And resilience is strongly associated with mental health in children and adolescents and needs a more prominent role in research. So that's where my data has all come from and why it's important in my development of my research. Finally, these are my references.